Hi, I'm Nate the Bias User, and today I'm going to be reviewing this new Parannoul album, After the Magic. This South Korean noise rock act has returned with a follow-up to his 2021 and one of my favorite records of that year, To See the Next Part of the Dream, with this new one being a record I have been anticipating for the past year. And this new batch of tracks has a good variety, making it the artist's most accessible record yet. The intro Polaris was an acoustic cut with some digital drums. There's good jangle pop drum play on Imagination, and the closer and title track is mostly ambience until it progresses into something more loud. But going more in depth to the individual tracks, I'll go back to the intro and not only praise its acoustic play, but how bright this track as a whole gets when violins work its way in the breeze of the acoustics. And the vocals were more out there than the past records, which is change that's very much for the better, rather than getting more low-key. It's great. And if you're missing Parannoul's more hard-hitting style, you'll be happy to know this track transitions to those old ways. And it's beautiful and also rough as remembered. Speaking of the past though, we unexpectedly get the track Insomnia, where if you remembered, was also present on the 2021 collab album with Asian Glow and Sonhos Tomam Kanta, which was one of the better songs on that album. And while I wasn't planning to hear what I already heard on a different record, it didn't hurt the structure. It fit in well. And the scattered drums and piano riff is as good as I remembered. We Shine at Night gives us drum play that's as cute and catchy as the vocals. And while it's cute, it's also very raw, and even that works out. Parade is loud at the start, but the selling point for me was the low volume violins playing around. There's also moments where everything chills out, like the frolicking metal xylophone passage, and I can't forget the la-la humming chemistry between the main vocals and choir that helps the rising section that leads to the sound of fireworks and then loudness. The sound effects of fireworks and also the sound of birds chirping were good, but the follow-up had new stuff that I personally can't say worked out. Sketchbook has a digital heavy jamming bass drum, reminding me of the heavy bass from the last Porter Robinson album that sounds like a compliment until I bring up how it feels like a flavorless and less polished version of said instrument. And while everything else played its part well and the ending was beautifully peaceful, there's still a good bit of what I don't like. But hey, it gets followed up by the jangle pop cut I enjoyed, Imagination. But just so Sound Inside Me, Waves Inside You can strip back the layers and make itself arguably the least exciting track on here. Even if something is interesting, this track is just too skeletal. Then there's Blossom containing crashing that feels overblown and relied upon when it doesn't need to be. There's already great vocal and instrumental direction chemistry, minus the drums, that gets better as the song continues. So it sucks to hear the best of this track get dominated by something so annoying. But I'm glad the album ended on a good progressive note with its title track, where I'm always appreciating the back and forth low synths, whether it's at the ambient start or loud ending. And I know this track is progressive, but I can live in the passionate orchestra sounds at the beginning forever. So overall, I'm amazed with a lot of what Parannoul put in After the Magic. And while it is clear not every new idea panned out well with each track, there's experimentation on certain parts with tracks I like, I was a little on the fence with, and it's definitely not as consistent as its 2021 predecessor, but I've always seen good creative intentions with each song nevertheless, and the intention still resulted in the majority of the tracks being great and beautiful pieces of work. I'm gonna give this album a 7.3.